This would have been our only family picture if Dr. Pine didn't come in and save my life.
3 people meet at the kitchen in Pittsford.
This last year for my wife's birthday, I brought her here for, because as one of my favorite restaurants, I came here. I did not tell them because I didn't know really that, obviously I didn't want to make anything out of it. But I'd made a reservation. We had come here. I had not seen, obviously, Joe in 5 years. At one point during the dinner, Chef Joe came out and he just walked up to me and gave me a hug.
That man is Dr. Raj Pine, an interventional radiologist at Rochester Regional Health. Joe Cipolla, the chef of the kitchen, brought out a photo of Aria Cipolla, his 5-year-old daughter. The 2 men and Pine's wife started crying.
As I guess one father to another father, I remember exactly what that would feel like. It was really a magical moment.
They were remembering the story of Aria's birth 5 years ago and her mother Christina's incredible story with Dr. Pine and how a new science, interventional radiology, helped save her life.
This is it. It was like very, very early in the morning. I woke my husband up to take me to the hospital. We were on our way there. I knew it was happening quickly. I was having contractions, and he said, "Mind if I stop and get a cup of coffee?" And he pulled over at the gas station and got himself a cup of coffee, which is awesome, and that's my favorite part of Aria's birth story. It was 4 o'clock in the morning.
Christina says the birth went fine and, quote, really fast. It was a natural birth with an epidural.
Pretty much picture perfect, but I started to feel lightheaded, just off, like I couldn't think quite properly, like a little bit disconnected. And then one of the nurses noticed that I was heavily hemorrhaging. I was bleeding a lot.
The medical team eventually diagnosed that part of her placenta was still attached and her body was still pumping blood there like there was a baby. But since Aria had already been born, Christina was hemorrhaging instead. In a quick decision, Christina's OB/GYN called Dr. Pine, saying,
"I think you can help save this woman's life." And he dropped everything on his son's first birthday while he was at a conference, potentially receiving an award, and came in, saved the day.
And to make the moment feel more dire, Christina says she had a dream about bleeding to death after giving birth.
So at this point, I started to freak out.
Joe recalls the harrowing experience before and after watching his wife bleed to death.
And I'm standing there at the end of the bed with my brand new baby thinking, what am I gonna do? I have I have like a son at home, like what do you do at that moment? It was hard, super hard, just thinking about it. That's why I love it. Every time I see that guy, it's just like he saved our family. He saved my wife. He gave us a new lease on life.
What we did is we planned for something called an embolization. And what we do is we actually put a small tube into the groin and go around to the artery feeding the uterus. And what we actually do is we actually block off that artery, which is very interesting because it's not from the outside, it's not a surgery, it's from the inside.
Within a few minutes, her heart rate went down, her blood pressure went up, and she started to regain consciousness. And in a few hours, Pine says Christina was as close to being her normal self as possible.
All I remember is being in the operating room and waking up. There's a whole bunch that I don't remember, but I do remember waking up. I remember Dr. Pine being there. I remember there being music playing. I remember there were nurses that I could see off in the background. I don't know exactly where they were, but I could see them smiling, excited. And I'm like, what are they so excited about? Well, I didn't realize that they were excited that I wasn't dead. That's why they were excited that I had survived. But what I do know is that by the grace of God, my OB knew Dr. Pine and knew who he was, knew that there might be an idea of something that was unconventional but could potentially save my life, and it did.
Now that it's over, everyone involved has a different takeaway. Maybe about delivering a baby.
Everyone thinks that the hardest part is just getting the baby out. But there are so many things that can happen. Well, it's changed my life because I'm here. It gave me life when, if he had not stepped in, I would not be here today. I would not be sitting here with you, interviewing with you. I wouldn't have all these moments that I get to have every day with my kids. It just makes all those moments so much more special.
To how it changes family and fatherhood.
It made me realize how important those things are. You know, there was a moment where I will always have that I had nothing. And that moment was given back to me. And I'm just forever grateful.
Dan Gross, News 8.